will be sweet. The ascents lifting you as in a chorus, the sharp corners turning you like a force of melody. There's a back road that sings its offbeat way up Stony Hill, built of course by the singer man. And the slim road to Mount Pleasant, also built by the singer man. And yes, it was the singer man who orchestrated the long road to Portland, made it full of waterfalls so that a man and his mule traversing its miles could forget for a while the solemnity of their loads. Please, when you visit Jamaica, drive on the singer man's roads. The color, thank you, thanks. The color of the singer man's songs. If the singer man had gone to America, he would have sung the blues. He would have sung the blues with a voice like John the Baptist, with a tongue covered in sand, and his blues would have been the kind of blues that is fed on locust and honey, blues like a cry that cometh from the wilderness, blues like the sound of warthogs alarmed at the sky. And the singer man would have sung it straight from his field in Arkansas to Harold Arlen's sitting room, and Arlen would have gone to the Keys to write a song more sad than blues in the night. But the singer man did not go to America. He stayed right here in Jamaica. So bless up to him and his song and all music that is sad in its own color. Bless up to the notes that fall like flakes of rust. Bless up to every song that makes its own way out of Dungle, a path straight through ghettos. Bless up to the Lamento, which becomes ska, which becomes reggae, and rubber-dub, which becomes legend. Bless up to all the red gold songs, the weary evening time songs, songs given to us by the singer man. So I said it's going to get progressively stranger. Here's a strange, we're celebrating the Caribbean, and the Caribbean can have very strange and magical, but very real things that happen. Here's one strange thing that happened. In 1987, a group, for some bizarre reason, decided that for a Christmas show in Jamaica, they would bring down 6 reindeer. They had the 6 reindeer, they were there, the Christmas show went nice, you know, Vincent, whatever. After that, they didn't know what to do with the reindeer, so they took them to Portland and put them in this little petting zoo. But it was 1988, and Hurricane Gilbert struck. And so the reindeer fled, the hurricane destroyed the cages, the reindeer fled into the hills of Portland, the same path that the Maroons took. And the reindeer did what the Maroons did. They survived, and they thrived, and they bred. I never know they did census of animals, but a recent census of the population of reindeer in the hills of Portland, Jamaica estimates that there are approximately 6,000 reindeer in the hills. Here we run the wild deer. Here we run the wild deer. The Caribbean caribou, does this surprise you? Deer without snow? Not even the possibility of snow here. There are like echoes of a long story, the brutal history of this place, which is not to say they are not their own stories, but that they know as we do the tightness of ships and how to lose whole continents and how to be wary of white men wielding whips and how to end up here. There is such a thing as the perfect storm. It includes an actual storm and deer in weak cages and the nearby bushes. How wonderful to escape into hills that have always been escaped. They are the new Maroons. At dawn, they descend on quiet hooves to loot from the estates, but maybe that isn't fair. I shouldn't say estates, but farms. On the 7 o'clock news, a man spreads his arms to show the field of ruined carrots. Have mercy, them never God Almighty thing. And then he faces camera, but is looking somewhere beyond the absent harvest, his mind lighting on memory. But Jesus Christ, he breathes. Them so pretty. His face now a curious thing, as if ashamed or puzzled. He should just now recognize their beauty, the nobility of their being, or accepting too late this may have been their payment, the price of carrots, to be seen. It is easier to hear the deer whose sounds are like doors on old hinges. At nights, listen. The landscape is creaking as if these bushes open themselves to drunk men just now stumbling home here, where the wild deer roam, where the wild deer roam, here where dried branches may not be dried branches but the majesty of antlers, here where white flowers may not be white flowers but the blossoming of their tails, the strange warning of deer we do not see well, but we sense you are here with us in this strange, strange land. Will you come now to the river? Will you teach us King Alpha's song and how to survive Babylon, how to belong where we do not belong? And this is the last poem I will read. That's a bit longer and, as I said, stranger. And by the way, like, a lot of these things are absolutely true. And I know that the poem will sound weird, but like, number 2 is absolutely true, except for the last 2 lines. Anyway, Lament for the Death of the Griot. You will realize when I'm talking about, if you know poets in the Caribbean, this is a poet's death that really affected me. But I was reading another poem that this is based on, and it provides an epigraph. The epigraph of this poem is by a poet called Joshua Beckman, and he writes, "At the news of your death, not a good poem was written, not in your country or mine. Lament for the death of the griot." It's in 12 parts. 1. At the news of your death, Kingston Harbor threw up all its fish. Piscine geyser rising some 100 feet, 1,000 luminescent tails slapping the air. And how it surprised us who thought the still black water held only tires and dead bodies, and Miss Silda, half blind, who could only discern the sudden shock of silver, thought she had seen fireworks. All day she greeted strangers with Happy New Year's. 2. At the news of your death, an honorable member of the this is the one that is true. At the news of your death, an honorable member of the Guyanese House lifted into that stale Parliament air one jet black 12-inch vibrating dildo. The government had mistakenly purchased it as a vibrating machine that could relieve the worst symptoms of COVID. It is further reported that 6 critically ill patients who now wish to remain anonymous, 4 elderly women and 2 married men, immediately went online, purchased one for themselves, and have since been given a clean bill of health. 3. At the news of your death, the day's catch of crabs climbed out one by one from their boiling pots on Heroes Circle and spat blue saliva in the faces of the vendors who had tried to cook them. The vendors, of course, ran, sturdy black women pounding the long roundabout or across the quiet graves of prime ministers, signing those men's deaths with their wide footprints. And though that evening they clamored in front of news cameras to tell their side of the story, to give warning of the vengeful crabs, no one really listened and no one really cared. 4. At the news of your death, parsons could only say "ras hole" when they really meant "amen," which caused pandemonium across the churches, deacons reaching up to tackle parsons down from the pulpits, mothers slapping fat palms over the children's ears, but it was too late. The little wretches had already heard. No schools have had to suspend the Lord's Prayer in morning devotion because the children insist on "yours is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever, ras hole." 5. At the news of your death, announced on 97.5 FM, a distracted chauffeur took a turn so sharp, the back of his hearse flew open, delivering onto Highway 4B one mahogany coffin and its singular content. And despite the clear thud of wood hitting asphalt, the chauffeur, still distracted, continued on to church. The ensuing argument between mourners and drivers was only quelled when the body, having had to walk the balance of road, limped into the churchyard annoyed, and then everybody was too busy fainting to hear the cadaver say, all right, I'm here, let's get on with it. 6. At the news of your death, the boy from Barrington Watson's mother and child stood up from his long constipation and declared, I'm tired of this shit. And with that, he exited the canvas. Eyewitness reports have placed him on Duke Street, shoving his chamber pot into open car windows, begging confused drivers for a farthing or a shilling. The National Gallery refuses to comment. 7. At the news of your death, 2 sperm whales washed up on Jewel's Beach, and all night they sang to each other the haunting song of their dying and of yours. And all in the complicated harmony of whales, the dark dialect of ocean. The next morning the stench of their rotting was so thick no one could venture near, and 3 hotels were evacuated. The morning after, the air smelled only of salt and almonds, and all that was found was the grand cathedral of their bones. 8. At the news of your death, every old man in every rum bar across these islands became sober. And no matter how many glasses or bottles they downed after, they could not regain their forgetfulness. At last, they marched home. This strange army of slump-backed men walking in disappointingly strange straight lines back to their wives or to their joblessness or to their own broken faces framed in dim bathroom mirrors, back to all that could no longer be forgotten. 9. At the news of your death, which was a Tuesday, everyone said it felt like Sunday, and then Sunday felt like Friday, and Friday felt like the beginning of the week. People showed up to gym in their church clothes, to fetes in their pajamas, but no one commented, no one said anything at all. This is what grief looks like. 10. At the news, let me just go to 11. 11. At the news of your death, not a good poem was written, not on your island or on mine. We just sat at our dumb computers, bashing out from our keyboards disjointed and incoherent syllables, not nation language, not dialectics, not sycorax, just signifiers that could no longer signify. And then we printed them, and then we crushed them. And then we tossed them from open windows, shouting to the streets below, it is not enough. 12. Kamau. At the news of your death, all my books flung themselves from their shelves and landed on the floor weeping, even my copy of Omeros. Some books confessed they loved you, others said they didn't realize how much they loved you, and still others said they had never heard of you, which made the missing in their hearts all the more surprising. And all I could do was sit with them. Sit with the shuffling sound of books in mourning. Kamau, it is 3 years now since you've been gone, and the books have only just begun to climb back up to their shelves. Thank you.
This is called Saltwater and Split Tongues. Have you ever packed for a place you're from but don't live? I was born twice, once in New York City and again on Grand Anne's Beach in Grenada. When people hear that I spent my childhood on the Lower East Side, noses wrinkle and assumptions rise, because when I say the Lower East Side, people hear Soho, and that is not the neighborhood that raised me. I was shaped by bodegas and tenement apartments where generations of Italians and Chinese immigrants lived, walls soaked in the spices of different music and mother tongues. Dear neighbors from around the world who delighted and taught me more than any history class ever could. During the week at my mother's, I smelled like marinara, thick and rich with garlic and basil. My grandmother's special gravy was always simmering on the stove. But on weekends, I smelled like strong curry and oildong. Smoke curling from the caldero on my father's stovetop. Lugga and fig boiling to the beat of Sparrow and Lord Kitchener, blasting from an old record player in the living room. Born American, raised Grenadian. Sunday, saltfish and bakes. Monday, spaghetti and meatballs. Two halves of a whole I have spent my entire life having to explain. And it was in these two very different places I learned that love can sizzle in two pans at once. Every summer, from birth to 17, my cousins and I were shipped off like barrels at Christmas time to Granny and Papa's in Grenada. Given no more than 48 hours after school ended, I was dropped off at JFK while it was still dark. More than 5 hours before the flight actually took off. The line at the check-in counter, already 50 people deep, sleep still in everyone's eyes, bags piled high and mountainous, everyone silently praying they wouldn't be overweight. My father, feeling my frustration, would turn to me and say, "Fix your face. Do you know how blessed you are to be going home? Hello, hi. Your great-great-grandparents came to Grenada from India on a ship. Nothing but the clothes on their back, bare lint in their pockets. Do you know why they did that? Do you know who your ancestors are? Pay attention. You here complaining about a short flight. How long do you think it took to reach Grenada by boat? 2 long months. Waves knocking, belly churning. He would tell me the story every year. And it was right around this part of the tale I would tune out. Visions of what I would miss in New York raced through my mind like express trains during rush hour. But do I have to go away for the whole summer? I want to hang out with my friends, play video games, go to the movies. There's no air conditioning at Granny and Papa's house. No cable, no fast food. I don't want to go fishing. I don't want to pick nutmeg. And my father would laugh and say, who don't see, go feel. I look back at the check-in counter line that had now doubled in length, completely ignoring his ominous warning. If you love it so much, why don't you come with me? And my father would laugh and say, one day you go understand. I didn't hear from him much when I was gone. How tired he must have been from all the overtime he worked. Hours and hours spent to afford me a ticket to paradise for 6 weeks when he couldn't leave New York for 6 days. This was before voices crossed oceans in an instant. In the 80s and 90s, distance was measured in pricey calling cards. Colorful pieces of plastic-coated cardboard decorated in parrots and white sand beaches I would get from the bodega would mock me as I dialed and punched in the longer-than-life PIN number. Dead air echoed clicks. And finally, through a fuzzy, delayed connection, a voice. Just enough time to say, hello? I can't hear you. Speak louder. And answer the question, when do I get to come home? The phone line would always disconnect before I got an answer. And despite our protest, all the cousins were sent, one by one. Anne and Eric's grandchildren came from all corners and crashed into that house in True Blue like we were crossing the stage on Carnival Tuesday. Each of us with an extra suitcase from our parents stuffed with anything from car parts to bundles of clothing for people we never met, frozen ham and whole turkeys in our carry-ons because Lord Father God, if your suitcase was delayed, at least the ham wouldn't spoil. 1 minute, the 6 train. The next, KLM, Biwi, and Liet. Hopping from island to island, fueling up on a plane I was sure was about to fall apart. Flying and flying until the clouds made way for the shining sun and I could see her. Tiny in size, large in pride, the Isle of Spice. On our flag, green for the land, yellow for the sun, red for our unity as one. And in the corner, a tiny, tiny proud nutmeg, a nod to our history. Grenada, the small island where everyone knows everyone, where time softened and the ocean always remembered my name. Granny and Papa would pick us up from the airport, arms outstretched. I would run to embrace them. It never felt like a whole year had passed between visits. All of us cousins riding in the back of Papa's old blue Toyota truck, bouncing along, and with each hill and turn, black and blue slowly forming, until we pulled up to the house, where mosquitoes and sandflies patiently waited to greet us. Songs high-pitched, mouths watering. Foreign blood does taste sweet. We'd eat our bellies full of curry chicken, Granny's special fish cake and bakes, hot roti, and fresh squeezed lime juice. All of our favorite foods served at once. My desire for burgers and pizza faded. My accent slowly crept in and my body relaxed as I watched the sun set and listened to crickets tune for their evening symphony. The days were not all filled with lazy lines. Another kind of school was in session. We went to the country, worked the land, hands in soil, and in the hush of the rainforest, learned about every tree, bush, and medicinal herb. And when the season opened, we blackened our skin in oil, donned our horn helmets, and played jab as the sun came up. We proudly chipped down the road in a sea of colorful feathers and sequins, behind big music trucks for pretty masks, and connected to our great-great-grandparents, their spirits rooting us deeper and deeper in every step. 6 weeks would pass unusually fast. And on the morning of our flights, we were sent back to the States with delicacies, anchor cheese, tamarind balls, frozen snapper, lambi, and crabback, love letters wrapped in cellophane and sealed in Ziploc bags. I'd watch my father unpack each bundle like he was handling a rare jewel. Food, the love language our West Indian families spoke to show their love for us. And looking back, those were the best days of my life. And I'd give anything now to sweat under one galvanized tin roof, to be bitten by the same mosquito, to fall asleep to the sound of crickets, cousins, and faraway steel pans. When I was 10, I argued with a nun. Sometime after lunch, right in the middle of class, at my small age, I corrected my teacher. A towering wrath of time and bone, this slender Irish shadow wore black from her crown to her heel. Her habit hid her shoes, inciting fear into us students who swore she floated on air. We were learning about food from other parts of the world, dishes we have in America whose roots came from places like Southeast Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean. Sister Trinidad spoke about the thick-skinned yellow fruit we all knew and loved. You know, the one that starts out green and can be transformed into different dishes. My classmates and I smiled, and then without missing a beat, she said its name, and she said it wrong. Sister Trinidad, it's plantain, not plantain. I scratched a mosquito bite I still had on my arm. Her eyes widened at my boldness. She clutched her rosary, gritted her teeth, and just as I was about to get reprimanded by her and Jesus, another voice from the back of the classroom said with her whole chest, "Actually, it's plátanos." When I received a history book at the start of every school year, I turned to the glossary to see if my island was there. I know my classmates did the same. Almost all of us were first generation. Born of another soil, our roots tangled in islands and cities and mother tongues our teachers couldn't pronounce. How could we explain that phlegm, salad, and uncomfortable meant the same thing? We outnumbered our teacher. Surely she would apologize for such a grievous injustice. But Sister Trinidad, one hand on her cross, the other on her hips, said flatly, "Maybe in your country, but in America, it's plantains." And we all very quickly shut up. Because how do you fight someone who came to this country on a different kind of boat? We learned very early to hold our place and to hold on to the weight of always being explained to. In my little neighborhood, I knew who I was. On my island, I knew who I was. But at school, I watched, I listened, and I waited. Two halves of a whole. My tongue was split like a ripe plantain. One side sweet and confident, the other side shy, waiting for permission. A constant tug of war with no winner. Stretched between who I am and who I was allowed to be, and both were tired. Sometimes your voice doesn't belong to you, not until someone tries to take it away. For discipline, my father brought up moving my education to Grenada for a year. My mother looked at me, hands folded, eyes deep like olives, Sunday gravy softly simmering on the stove. Do you want to go to school in Grenada? Ma, can you see me as a convent girl, skirt down past my knees, starched white shirt and socks and tie, open breezy classrooms, chalk floating like island mist, learning a different kind of history? To say no felt like I was betraying myself. To say yes felt the same. My mother, knowing the full brevity of what this meant, leaned back in her chair, lowered the flame on the simmering pot and said, "Yes, I can." And years later, I realized that sending me to Grenada for school wasn't a threat. It was meant to be a gift, so I could learn not just how to answer, but how to ask, how to be loud with purpose, and be quiet with power. In the 80s and 90s, growing up Caribbean American meant waiting for the sun to see you. Like hurricanes and sorrow, you're seasonal. Our music slept through winter and woke once it hit 65 degrees. When Hot 97 played the first soca or dancehall track of the season, my hips would thaw and remember they had a job. Coat and jacket weather was for Z100. Rock, alternative, techno, music for the cold weather half of me. The one who wanted to easily hold conversations with friends in high school, searching, always searching for common ground until the other half of my soul could slip back into itself, remembering who it was when the world was warm enough to notice. 17 came for each of us, and one by one we stopped going to Grenada for the summer. Our time at Granny and Papa's house replaced by time cards and experiencing American summers for the first time. And I began to ache for the kind of sweet boredom that drifts on lazy breezes and smells like callaloo and crab on a coal pot in someone else's yard. Fragments of my lineage whispered in my mind, 2 months on a ship to a foreign land with nothing but dreams in their pockets. 17 brought up questions I never thought to ask. Can I go to Grenada for the summer? I want to hang out with my cousins, all talk and not watch TV. I want to eat mangoes every day until my belly busts and devour steamed fish every night. Please, can I go to Grenada for the summer? Just for a week. I'll even take a day. I long for salt on my lips, my cousins all together, eating skin up and sucking on sugarcane in the back of Papa's truck. Granny in the rearview mirror smiling at the sight of all her grandchildren together under one roof because the sun remembered who they were. When I was 20, I played soca in my dorm room, with the door closed, loud enough for me to hear it, but not loud enough to wander the halls. Cautious joy. I didn't want to answer questions. I didn't want to have to explain me. Going to college away from home was thrilling but scary. I missed the comfort of family, friends, and meals that tasted like stories passed from hand to hand. So I sang quietly and off-key, a solo carnival in my room. But the spirit caught me and rose up into my chest. I raised the volume. Music this good should never whisper. I raised the volume again, forgot where I was, and let the bass shake the walls. Tassa drums and quattros, trumpets and steel pans. I danced until I forgot the miles between my roots and that room, sang at the top of my lungs, and then a knock. I froze, turned off the music, let the silence settle, composed myself, and slowly opened the door. Over the years, I had memorized answers for most questions about my culture for those whose curiosity was piqued. I learned to speak of my island like a tour guide with a gentle smile to soften the edges and to explain without overwhelming. An upperclassman stood in front of me, still dressed in pajamas, fuzzy, slipper-covered feet at 3 p.m. Hi, excuse me, what were you playing? Soca, I replied, already reaching for the words. It's a genre of music from... No. I know what it is. That's why I knocked on the door. I'm Haitian. And just like that, I was seen, not explained. And she smiled warmly, didn't question me, and I cried. The first day I wore contacts to work, a woman who had never spoken more than 2 words to me suddenly turned curious. Are those your real eye color? I'd been asked the question before, as if green eyes are only allowed on one kind of face. Where did you get them? My father. Oh, where's he from? Grenada. Oh, I haven't been to that part of Spain. Not Spain, it's an island in the Caribbean. Oh, are green eyes indigenous to the island? I could feel my tongue start to split. No. Oh. So where did you get them? I could see her trying to process this as if she discovered a glitch in the system. I looked her straight in the eyes, fire burning within me, and curtly replied, slavery. And I watched her shrink back, retreating into her cubicle she wished had a door. She didn't want to hear how slavery was not such a long time ago, how my green eyes came from Granny, who got them from her father and shared them with her 74 brothers and sisters. I wanted her to ask me to elaborate, so I could say where my green eyes came from. Scores of half-siblings on a plantation who worked but never had claim to the land they had no choice of being born on. This part of the history I knew. Ask me where I'm from and I'll tell you. Ask me where I got my eyes. But only if you're ready for me to give you a lesson on how green eyes are sometimes not pretty. They carry pain, and yes, they do change color. These green eyes shift shades because their history is still at war in a battle I can't name but feel in every blink. My whole life, people have often asked me what I am, like I'm a walking riddle they're just trying to figure out. Stares, furrowed brows, nods, and finally, are you part something? And I say yes. I'm part sea, part Granny's prayers, part Italian countryside. I am an only child, but I was raised by a village. Cherished family members, the ones who braided my hair and poured witch hazel on my head when it hurt from more than just the heat. The ones who made lamby waters, fed me stewed chicken and fried breadfruit, and told me I picked up weight right after handing me a third helping of rice and peas. Floating in the ocean has always been magical to me. Flat on my back, arms outstretched, eyes to the sky, weightlessly carried along the water like a child being rocked in a cradle. The epitome of peace. A feeling I didn't want to have to give up when I was back in the city. When I was 12, I put sand and seawater in a hot pepper jar I took from my mother's refrigerator. A child's offering. My quiet attempt to bring Grandans back to the Lower East Side. My clever plan, so I thought. I'd open the jar, dip my hand in, and feel the sun, the breeze, the crash of the waves. My cousins and I jumping off the jetty into bottomless blue waters. Memories rushed in like the tide and then quickly rushed away when I opened the jar and almost got knocked over by the foul smell. Because how can you bottle a feeling, cork an ocean? I could hear Granny's laugh, her voice softly saying, "Don't you know the sea never sits still?" Mosquito bites gone, tan lines fading, warmth traded for wind, laughter echoing like a half-forgotten calypso. Somewhere between the last goodbye and the quiet return to routine, I always remember what stays. Love. And if you ask me how much, I'll tell you. I love you like baked sun saltfish on a Sunday, like a Julie mango in dry season. So much I'd give you my last dumpling. I was taught that love looks like a full pot, an overflowing plate, a glance that says, you better know who you are, and I do. I am my mother's attention to detail, my father's ever-changing eyes, Granny's hand in the pot, Papa's way with words. My name is Elgin Wardali. I am the dream of my great-great-grandparents, formerly Wahid Ali, who came all the way from India on a ship called the Maidstone that left Calcutta with 304 passengers and arrived in Grenada with 287 on May 1st, 1857. Indentured servitude for those seeking a better life. My great-great-grandparents signed their land deed with an X because they couldn't read or write, but they could dream. And that X was their voice. Have you ever packed for a place you're from but don't live? I folded memories into fabric, tucked longing between layers of linen, crumbs of old stories, a laugh that smells like citronella, a glance that echoes rain falling on coconut trees. Home recognizes me and asks quietly, "Where have you been? When are you coming back?" And I answer, "I never really left. I just learned to carry you in pieces." I carry the blood of sugarcane cutters, land buyers, storytellers, revolutionaries, forward ever, backward never. All these pieces, passed hand to hand, soul to soul, in memory, in marrow, in might, I am. No more tug of war. When I close my eyes, I see red, orange, and yellow washing over clouds, revealing a diamond-covered sky. Stardust and sunlight come together. And under a swelling breeze, a chorus softly rises. In the midst of it all, I've learned to awaken the quiet, let the light pour through, open my mouth, and turn silence into song. Thank you.
Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hopefully we're going to stream something real cool. So cool that I didn't even put it in the description just in case. I will do it later because I don't want anything to interrupt it. It should be amazing. We had an amazing concert about a year ago. And if you know what I mean, this is Lincoln Center, and you can look it up online and you will see the schedule, what is scheduled for 7 o'clock p.m. in Demert Park of Lincoln Center. You're welcome, Joan. It was not planned, the poetry wasn't planned, but because of the bad weather, they were scheduled to perform a little earlier, but it's been cancelled, so they combined it and let them read the poetry before the concert, which is very organic and truly awesome. Also, there is a possibility as soon as they start, everyone will jump off the seats and will be here. That's why I learned my lesson from a year ago. So in case of this happens, I will be here in between everyone else in the crowd and close to stage. Earlier today we were in Bronx, of course you know, we covered the Bronx Puerto Rican Day Parade. And now we are in the city, in Manhattan, in Lincoln Center, and this is where something real cool is about to happen. So Delilah and I, we appreciate your time as always and your support, your likes. Don't forget to hit the like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you subscribed earlier today, welcome. If you subscribed recently, welcome. Thank you all the mods for being here. Of course, when they start, I will shut up and we'll let you enjoy. But until then, until they start, and they should start real soon. We wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day. It's in the US, it's tomorrow, June 15th, Sunday. So happy Father's Day, everyone. It's getting a little windy and cold. The weather is really not the summerish yet. You're welcome, Austin. Thank you so much for the weather, Austin. 62, but it's really windy. It doesn't really feel like 62. It feels more like 52. Really. Stylish Bonnie, happy Father's Day, everybody. Jen, I wish I could make a donation. I can next week. No worries, Jen. No worries at all. We're always happy to have you here, and thank you for being here and enjoying it. Yeah, it's the 15th of June in UK, right? UK is always ahead of us. Hey Rhonda, hi Rhonda, your friend is here. Wow, this is interesting. No, this is not Bryant Park Jazz, no. This is Lincoln Center. Hey Georgia boy. That's full capacity, look. Lincoln Center has two venues outside right now in the summer. It's called Summer for the City, and this one is in Demarch Park, and this one is a little bit to the right if you enter Lincoln Center from Broadway, from the avenues. There's a dance floor. Dance floor looks so different, like really dance floor, and this one, of course, looks more like a concert venue. Are we glitching? Oh shoot. I hope not. I'm going to hold this camera in one position. I'm not going to turn it. My phone is showing a great signal. This is interesting. Try to close and open again. Is anyone else lagging? Thank you, Ori. To spend New York City Saturday evening. Stylish Ale. They open up the new dessert shop on Upper East Side. Shkulata on 70th Street between 1st and York. Oh wow, interesting. 70th between 1st and York. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the suggestion, Stylish Bonnet. Shkulata. 70th between 1st and York. Thank you, thank you.
Good evening. Hello. Welcome to Lincoln Center celebration of Caribbean music and art and culture. How many people are from the Caribbean who are here today? How many people are from the Caribbean? We love you. you. We are so happy that you're here. We hope that you see yourselves here in our programming at Lincoln Center and that you come back for more and more. This is Summer for the City. It just started this week and it goes through August 9th, and we hope that you see tons of shows here. We have everything from music here on this stage to dance, social dance across the street on Hearst Plaza under that giant disco ball. And even if the weather holds out, we might actually be able to do a silent disco tonight. So we are so happy to have you here. We have been making a real commitment to supporting the Caribbean community. The Caribbean community makes up so much of New York City, and we are so proud to have you here tonight to celebrate. I don't know if you got to see some of the activations earlier today, but we are continuing on throughout the night. A couple of things. We have an amazing market with things including scarves like this, just right behind you. And Miles Regis, who designed this scarf for Etienne, did a beautiful print, a limited edition print for us. And that is also on sale. But today we're giving out posters of his print. So if you want to get a signed poster, you just go to that marketplace. It's just right behind those trees. And you can check out Miles's work. He's also selling some of his gears. And we have other Caribbean designers selling some of their wares. So please check them out throughout the concert. But don't go anywhere right now, because we are about to start off our concert. I have to say also that we are live streaming tonight's show as I get blown away. So if you have friends who couldn't make it here, maybe they're back home somewhere in Trinidad or Jamaica or somewhere else in the Caribbean and they would like to see, you can just tell them to go to lincolncenter.org and they can live stream of this performance. Also tonight we have live captioning going on for those who are in the audience who might need some assistance. So if you need any help, you can just raise your hand and we can help and make sure that you get some help with the live captioning. Now it is my great honor to introduce Etienne Charles and the Road March Band. We at Lincoln Center are huge fans of him and his work. He has played all across our campus, from jazz at Lincoln Center to the atrium to outdoors to opening David Geffen Hall with us just 2 years ago. He is an amazing composer, amazing musician, amazing performer. And tonight you're going to see how versatile he is as he celebrates various winners of the Road March. So please help me welcome Etienne Charles and the Road March Band tonight in concert. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Etienne Charles and the Road March Show. one and all. Welcome to the Road March Show. My name is Roger George, aka Alice Love. Somebody say yeah, yeah! So, tonight, you're gonna get a taste of the Caribbean in full blast. Right? We're gonna take you on the road from all the road marches coming down. Not everything you will get tonight because we don't have that time. But we're gonna give you some of the road marches that you know throughout the years and you remember. Right? So let me start with the second one right now tonight. And this is one from one of my idols, Mr. David Michael Rugger. Come on! With Dr. Joseph Francis Zane Rodolfo, Next Level Devils, and we continue with some poetry by the great Kai Miller, Elgin Wadali. I wanted to do something that featured all performers from all over the Caribbean. And so, this next tune, this next series of tunes, I'm very happy to be invited to my bandstand for the very first time. A legend, he's been the monarch 15 times in Antigua. Almost 10 road marches to his name. A legend, I went to his house in Antigua to invite him to this show. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Put your hands together. And welcome to the stage, all the way from Antigua for you here tonight. Dr. McLean Emmanuel, also known as King Short Shirt.
You know, while you're having fun, you always at me. I'm not done anymore. The thing I used to do before time, I do them more. Long time, you used to in a hurry. Nowadays, we have to go slow. Everybody out there? Yeah. God bless you. Nice to be here, man. Yes, see some nice looking people. Yes. One and two, only one. Yeah. Are you alright? You lady, you satisfied? You look like you're never satisfied now. Once me and you can get satisfaction. God bless you folks. All you men, if you never check your prostate, go and do it. Very important. Keep you strong and healthy. Thank you so much for that little bit of applause you gave. Still we give thanks. Not feeling so good right now anyhow. I'm alright, I'm alright. At 83 years of age, you laughing? This is serious business. Nothing tall work now. Not a thing.
Only your mind work.
Long time?
Long time.
Oh boy. Give thanks for life. What about you?
Still like flashlight.
What? The time will come.
Y'all having a good time with us so far? Say yeah, yeah.
So I want to conceptualize this program. I wanted to make sure it's not just the Road March kings, but also queens. Give it up for the queens. I actually met this young lady on the smallest airplane known to man. We were going to Montserrat. She was going at the time to win what would become the second Caribbean Calypso Queen crown. Since then, she's won it again. She's known as the Triple Queen. She's also the 2020 Calypso Monarch from Trinidad and Tobago. And I have her singing the funniest tune she will introduce you. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one, the only Miss Terri Lyons. And now, every single Road March concert has a surprise special guest. Every single one. And tonight is no different. The best part is I don't even need to say their name. They normally just come on the stage. So here we go.
You make me wild. Give yourselves a round of applause, it's so beautiful. Give Etienne Charles and the Creole Orchestra a round eye. Eternally grateful. Make some noise for Lima. Make some noise for Roger George. Make some noise for Nigel Lewis. Make some noise for Terri Lyons. If you know that Caribbean women are the most beautiful in the world, let me make some noise. Excuse me, ma'am. Are you from the Caribbean? Right up front here, this young lady right here. Yes. I'm from the Caribbean. I'm Asian. Are you from Barbados?
Jamaica!
Jamaica. Where are you from? Where are you from, man?
New York!
New York. No Caribbean in you. Do you have any Asian in you? Would you like some?
She already done that! She done that already!
It's all about Caribbean unity. If you were bringing me and say, yeah, yeah! Caribbean women, please have this song. Let me sing this one. Sing one. proper. Give yourselves a round of applause. That's what marriage are Hector. Make some noise for Hector, please. Dexter in the building, Bornique. Tempted to touch. Is 22 years old. Still one of the biggest songs, most streamed Caribbean songs on the planet today. Recently went gold. 150 million streams. Give yourselves a round of applause. This next song turns 25 this year. And because of you, it is still one of the biggest songs in soca music today. Give yourselves a round of applause. I want to see if you remember.
Let's hear it.
Whoa! You make me wanna. Everybody, Big up all the little children on the inside. Make some noise for the little ones. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. Hey, 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 hey. Ah, get in there. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You think we are
Ah, you ain't got that one, no? No more Hennessy for you, or you cut them off. Give yourselves a round of applause. I love you so much. So that's it to here. I want to come back to this place. If you want to see me in Lincoln Center again, make some noise. Say yeah, yeah! Give Lincoln Center and their staff a big round of applause for all they do for the culture. I want to leave you with this one, because I'm honored and humbled to share the stage with an icon, a legend. We got next, Superblue. Make some noise! I'm going to leave you with this one. They say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We say what happens in the party Everybody will be ready, international. Give yourselves a round of applause. I love this song. Last two. What happens in TNT? What happens in TNT? What happens in NYC? What happens in NYC? So anything that you see stays on TikTok.
Super! On TikTok, Instagram. Super! It's true. Oh, Facebook.
What happens in IG stays on, and what happens on TikTok
Stays on TikTok.
So anything that you see. I love you so much. Don't run and tell nobody.
Thank
And I point out this year, we have much time, but come on.
Bust one, Grandpa.
Road March. I came in and see Road all them Road March. And I wait for that. Give it up with me. A real army camping that idea would never come. If this will come, we are real people. But boy, give yourself up before we go on close. And give me promotion. Austin, Junior, come fast. Austin, Terri, Junior, Nigel, come fast. Oh, you come fast. Yes, them took the tricks, come fast. You them, I never seen them get on food. There was tricks, come fast. Right here, really interesting. How much? How much you have? You're the father. One, this happy father, all the fathers inside there, all the men, prayer. Give it happy father to sing this with you, for all the father. In the night, some kind of man that never said me. I allow life to be the same for you, the same for you. There's a way, everybody said. It's a party. Welcome. Last year what was disgusting. We ate a stand up a tree, music playing. Like she wasn't listening me. That one has been made from the street. Something you better do. I'm standing. You better start to shake this thing. Do that don't last party. See you shall Ghana everything. You're watching this learn the camping and the camping. Even though.
All the weed Superblue.
Huh? You sure?
Yes. All the weed.
What are we?
Yes, all the weed, yes.
Okay, I will do. I want to give you a comment.
to see you and so. Jump, I said. Jump, I said. Jump, I said. Jump, I said. Jump, I said.
Yeah, you can go over there, you can have that going on now so you can have a time. Alright? Dance! I ain't saying it, I ain't saying it. Jump up, jump and put your... Nah, I can't look and say it, but I ain't saying it.
Not the 6th. The 5th. The 5th. For sure. Yes. And August 29th.
What a show. What a show. Ifa Bunmi, great show. Caribbean music is the best. Julie, guess it wrapping up.
I got in my car, I parked my car, and I heard him go outside.
Just tells me Superblue is the performer. He is a legend in Soca. Yes, he was right here. He thought it was entrance to back to the stage, so he kind of like tried and it didn't open, and then he walked over here. So we saw Superblue going three rounds around here, right standing right there. This is awesome. How was the transmission? How was the quality of the video? How was the network? All my indicators were showing that everything is good. So I hope everything is good. Julie, I love the vibes. Yes, really, really awesome. I'm going to update the description. The reason why I didn't do it at the beginning, I did it on purpose because a lot of stars are involved into this performance, and I didn't want any conflicts of anything. But now when the show is over, I'm going to update it. I'm going to update the thumbnail. I'm not sure what to put in it. Probably put the Superblue passing through where I was standing. You know, it's one of the options, but we will see. And what a great network. Thank you so much, DJ Rag. It was all good. Hi, DJ Rag. It's good to see new fans in chat and old fans in chat. And all we ask for is to hit the like and subscribe. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe. If you're not new to our channel, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. We did Patrice Roberts a year ago at the show right here on the same stage. I'll probably put the link in the description when I update it, but there is the whole concert. We published it as the live stream and then separately as well. Then Geographer, very clear, like being at a concert. Wow. United Night, another amazing stream brought to us by L and Delilah. Hey, I have a question to everybody. That guy who he said he didn't have to say the name of, I feel really kind of like slow right now, but what was his name? If anyone can give me a heads up, because I'm having a senior moment. I know he's famous. He didn't have to introduce him because he's famous, but nevertheless, I completely forgot his name. And it was unannounced. You know, when they said that there's going to be a surprise, an unannounced guest that everybody knows, so he didn't even have to introduce him. That guy, I totally forgot his name. This is not Bryant Park. This is Lincoln Center. Lincoln Center this is the area of Lincoln Center. Metropolitan Opera is like behind this building right here, and or maybe it is. Well, I'll show it to you in a minute. And this is one of the spaces to the left, and this one is called Damrosch Park. If you pull the map of Lincoln Center, you will see it on the kind of like on the left hand side. This is one of the venues. Another one, they having a silent disco at 9 o'clock, so we're going to pass through that area. They're having a silent disco. Now what silent disco is when they have headsets and they're hearing the music, but we will not hear what they hear. Summer for the City is every year. It's annual. They have so many different events. It is unbelievable. By the way, this was a free concert. Would you believe this? A free concert. And I got here pretty early, so I was standing in line, and I asked one of these people who work here, so if I have a press pass, can I go through the fast line? And the answer was, if you don't have a special ticket, whatever the ticket is, you have to go through general admission. And I was like, sure, no worries, because it was like 5:20ish. So it was pretty early, so I didn't have to wait in line. Then there was a pretty serious security check, and
silent disco.
Thank you. Look at this. This is Metropolitan Opera. What I was talking about. Of course, this is the Metropolitan Opera. Right here. This is Lincoln Center, and this is the fountain. It's right in the middle. But when they build the Summer for the City area for the summer, this is what it looks like. The stage looks fantastic. First, this is the map, Metropolitan Opera. The Chagall's paintings right there. There's one. And there's another one. This is the Metropolitan Opera, and this is New York City Ballet, I think. And this one is David Geffen Hall, if I'm not mistaken. Look at the lights. It's Pride Month, so see the rainbow, but the rainbow is changing too, so it is beautiful. I just want to show you another Chagall's painting. Right there. Yes, Lincoln Center. Nothing is going on right there at the moment, but a lot is going on at the dance floor. It is a dance floor. But it's a silent disco, so we hear the emotions, but we don't hear the music. Man in the yellow blazer. No, he had a black jacket with a C, champion, black champion jacket. That guy. But thank you. Check this out. They're dancing because they hear the music. They have a DJ on stage, but their DJ is playing the silent music. How funny it is. So it's really loud, but it's really loud in the ears. Can I come in for a second? Can I come in for a second?
Have a good night. I think Chris still has to enter through that way.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy, the only thing about Lincoln Center, they treat press like general admission. Have to go through the gate. Maybe it makes sense because it's a security too, I guess. So we're not going to go through security again because it's annoying. But you see what is going on. Yeah, it's good to have a security, of course. It's just I don't want to give him the back and the dog is going to sniff it. They did it again. They did it before and I passed, of course. But I just don't want to do it again because it's not like I'm going to proactively put the headsets on, but I'm going to show you what it looks like from here. It's good enough. No copyright happening with them, that's for sure. And why this is too funny. See? I'm pretty sure this is Soca. This is how when you hear Soca, this is what happens to your body. So this is definitely Soca. Cause that's a Caribbean Day or Caribbean Day. Oh, look at the stage at Lincoln Center, including the silent disco. It's funny, but this is one of the things that Lincoln Center does sometimes in the evening. Not to make too much noise, I guess. Oh look, they put a little headset on the baby too. This is scientifically what music does to you, right? Good, in a good way, not in a bad way. See? As long as I hear the music, this is how your body starts moving. There's certain type of music. Bell bottom song. Yeah, no, you're funny. Baby's rocking out there, yeah. Because the baby has a headset on, so the baby feels and hears the same thing as his daddy or her daddy. And I would love to see you. Yeah, you cannot see me doing this. No. Beautiful. I wonder what the playlist is. This is so funny. This is Lincoln Center, June 14th, 2025, Saturday. And no matter what is going on all over the place, you know, we all need change of scenery. I think we had a good change of scenery today. This is what we saw. $7 p.m. See, Etienne Charles, Road March in concert, part 3. And this is the dance floor.
I wonder what they're playing now.
Yeah, I know it's not.
Oh, you're right.
People look so funny when they're not dancing to music, quote unquote, we can hear, but they are having a great time, good vibes. Hey, Christian Hansen. Another long stream today, 3 hours and 11 minutes. Whoa, we are having fun today. Really, we had would you believe we were in the Bronx this morning to cover Bronx Puerto Rican Day Parade in the Bronx. And now we're here in the city again in Lincoln Center. I think we're done for today. Thank you so much, everyone. Please don't forget to hit the like button. What we saw today in this stream is absolutely awesome and so cool. Wow, there was so much energy, you know, fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much for enjoying. Share the link. We would love if anyone else share the link with anyone else, so anyone else would be able to enjoy the concert again as well. Maybe subscribe, maybe hit the like and share as well, because sharing is caring. We don't mind if more people find our channel and find this interesting as well. We say we will see you later. We will see you sooner rather than later. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, late evening, early morning, or morning, depending on where you're watching us from. And why? Thank you, a wonderful life. Thank you, and why? Ben El Geographo, yeah, you are a man of the city. Have a great night, man. Thanks so much. You too, everybody. It's been another fun day. You know, a lot of SHIT is happening in a lot of personal lives and a lot of on a global scale. So I'm happy that we were able to change the scenery a little bit today, and this hopefully will continue in the future. Thank you everyone. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you moderators, NY, Sunshine Wives, Noble Sweetness, Austin City Limits, Ambrose, Ori, and drumroll, Neo 99. Thank you the mods, you're the best. Thank you everyone. Thank you. Good night, and keep dancing if you can. We will see you soon. Bye-bye. Julie, good night. You're welcome. Neil 99. Thanks, Delilah, for allowing Al to go out today. No reporting today. Did I go through the whole day without reporting? Reporting is, dear Delilah, Al ... So I think I was on my best behavior today. Thank you, Neil 99, for not reporting me. Or maybe you did, but I did not see it. I was too busy. Neil 99, thanks for tonight. You're welcome. Glad you enjoyed. All right. We will see you later. Bye-bye, everyone.